Hello and welcome. This is Cheryl Major. I want to welcome you to this edition of my health podcast, which we are rebranding. I have always been Thin, Strong, Healthy, and started that back in, I think it was 2016, when I first started producing here. And it kind of carried over from the TV show. After COVID, I came in and started podcasting, and it just kind of carried over as Thin, Strong, Healthy. So I want to rebrand Thin, Strong, Healthy as Major Health Tips in Digestible Bites, because I want to appeal to a broader audience. I want to make a difference to a broader audience, and I want to talk about things with you on a several time a month podcast basis that can make a difference for you in your life, in your health, both mental and physical and emotional. And I thought that a good start would be just to rebrand it as Major Health Tips. I actually, my podcast, which I've had for a number of years at CherylAMajor.live, if you want to check out some of those, that has always been Major Health Tips in Digestible Bites. So I want to get some continuity here, and also, again, appeal to people who want to just take a small little something and maybe tweak that into your life and have it make a difference. You know, you don't have to make huge changes. In fact, one of the most important things that I can share with you, right around the beginning of the year is please don't diet. Don't diet. Please don't diet. Diets don't work. They're not sustainable. They're too hard. And people try to make the changes. They try to stick with it. And they stick with it for a couple of weeks, 2, 3 maybe. And then it just becomes too hard. A couple of things happen. First of all, life can happen, and you can have an event. You can have a wedding. You can have a party. You can have events in your life like stresses and things like that where you just got to go for that bag of chips and then you're off the wagon. I had one client I was working with, and she said, yeah, I do really, really well, and then something happens and I go off the wagon and I get really mad at myself and I just give up. I just stop and I give up. And if there's one thing I want you to understand, you don't stop. You just don't stop, because it's an ongoing process of learning and figuring out what your goals are, short-term, long-term, and then making adjustments in what you eat, what you feed yourself mentally as well as physically. And, I want to share something with a lot of you that you may not know. All of this started for me back in 2012. I had kept a secret. I had kept a secret for many, 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 many years. And it was that I dealt with chronic depression. And I was embarrassed, ashamed. I was afraid people wouldn't hire me to do my job because they'd be afraid that depression would get involved. It never did. Never did affect me negatively that way. But I dealt with it on a daily basis. And then in 2012, just by accident, I changed my diet. I changed my diet to help somebody else. And what happened for me was the changes I made caused me, in probably, I would say, for 3 or 4 months, I wasn't depressed anymore. And that's not to say that I'm not a depressive person, because I know it's in my gene pool. And if I go back to doing the things that I used to do, I can start to feel down. So there's so much stigma attached to mental health. So part of what I want to deal with is the mental health aspect of it, although I said I didn't want to deal with depression in my work now because it's too depressing. But the fact is that a lot of us need support, need help, need tips. And I'm not a doctor. I'm not book learned on, well, I am book learned on this because I've done a ton of reading, a ton of research, a ton of trying different things to see what works for me. And I've learned a ton. I've created courses, I've written books. I'm very proud of the work I've done, and I want to share it with people who need it. And maybe your issue is weight loss. Maybe your issue is with your glucose levels. Maybe your issue is with depression. I want to put things out there that maybe you can grab a little something out of, the 20 minutes that I want to, spend with you when I do one of these podcasts. And just take it and run with it and, implement it into your life. I think if we do things one step at a time and implement slowly, it's going to be a whole lot better for you and a lot more effective for you than trying to go on a diet and just trying to change everything all at once. It's very, very difficult, and there's no getting around that. So also wanted to share with you, I looked up a statistic, and in 2023, the diet industry was then, that's 2 years ago, more than a $90 billion industry. More than a $90 billion industry. 2 years later, I can't even imagine what it is now. But when you think about it, doesn't it make sense that a diet is not designed to work? Because if a diet worked, why would you need all the diets? You just have the diet that worked, and that would be it. They're designed. I hate to say that. Well, no, I don't hate to say this, but I'm sad to say this. But in my opinion, in my experience, diets are not meant to be sustainable. They're designed to have us need to look for another diet. And, the hope that this will be the one, this will be the diet that will work for me, that will normalize my glucose, that will help me feel better, will give me more energy, will help me drop, 5, 10, 15 more pounds. That hope keeps us looking and keeps us searching. It keeps us optimistic that this will be the one. So I want to replace or add on to your hope with something that is doable, is manageable, something that you can integrate into your life. Small steps for big changes, that's what I call it. And this, I think, is a mantra that we should all have, because whether it's exercise, whether it's food, it doesn't matter. If we can do things on a small, steady scale, then we'll be much more apt to be successful and to integrate them into our lives long term. So just remember, if you're on a diet now and you're struggling, and I know it's getting down to the time of January, we're at the end of the month, and all your good intentions, all your New Year's resolutions about going on a diet and losing whatever it is that you want to lose, you may be getting a little shaky with that. And if you're at that point, give yourself some grace, please. This is designed to happen, so you'll need to do another diet. You're completely normal if you're struggling with a diet and you're getting to the end of your rope. And you know what else is important to realize is when you're on a diet, you're denying yourself something that you really want. And if you get to the point where you can't take it anymore and you have to have that thing, whatever it is, if it's cookies, if it's chips, doesn't matter. When you do that, not only a couple things happen. First of all, you're usually disappointed in yourself or you're mad at yourself. But because you've been craving it and holding off and holding off and holding off, the chances are that you are going to binge on that. And that will make you feel even worse mentally and physically. So just give yourself grace if you're at the breaking point with your diet that you went on after the new year, after the holidays. Just give yourself some grace and know it's perfectly normal. And there's something else I want you to know about dieting. When you go on a diet and you're all excited because you think this is going to be the one, this is going to be the one that is going to answer your health questions and your frustration, your weight loss, keep you off going metformin or insulin or whatever your challenge is, improve your arthritis, doesn't matter, whatever it is. If you are at that point where you are on the diet and you're feeling good and you're losing weight and you're losing weight quickly and you're saying, oh, I knew it, this is the one. And then all of a sudden you stop and you what we call it, I call it the dreaded diet plateau. You plateau. You're losing weight, and all of a sudden it stops. It comes to a screeching halt, and you stop losing your weight. You know what that is? In the beginning of any diet, I don't care what diet, what you're losing is water weight. And that's very easy to lose. And the beginning of any diet, It's water weight that you're losing. And when you hit the dreaded diet plateau, there are a couple things. First of all, understand that now you're getting down to the serious part, so celebrate. Woohoo! The water weight's gone. Now I'm getting down to the serious part. And what are you starting to lose? You're starting to lose fat. This is something that is, I don't believe I've ever heard people really explain this. It's important to understand because it helps you wrap your head around, why do my diet start off great? Is it something I'm doing? Am I just a weak person? I don't have the self-control. Nope, that's not it. That's just the way your body works. It gets rid of the water weight really quickly, and then bam, you hit the dreaded diet plateau and you're starting to lose fat, and it gets really, really, really slow, and it gets tough. And when it gets tough, we start to get discouraged, and then maybe this isn't the diet, and maybe I will have that cookie, and then, it's that cycle. I want to talk a little bit about habits. There are good habits and there are bad habits. And it's hard or impossible to alter a habit. The best thing to do is replace a habit with a different habit. And that's one of the things that we'll be covering in the next few weeks, in the next few podcasts, because it's something that I've become aware of through something else I've been doing. I'm always trying to train and learn, and why not keep learning? Why not keep learning? Keeps your brain active too. But we'll be talking about habits, good, bad, and how to manage them a little bit better. And that leads to my next point. I would encourage you to keep a journal. I'm a big fan of journaling. Sometimes it's more do as I say, not as I do, because I'm not always a consistent journaler. But I think that when you're looking to make change, it's important to know what you're doing now. What you're doing now you may feel that you're so set in doing it in your way that you don't need to write it down, that you will remember. Please trust me on this. You won't remember. We have a million things going on. We have a million stressors. We have a million appointments and, cell phone calls and emails and texts and all this stuff. You won't remember. And don't put that kind of pressure on yourself. But it's really good. My point with all of this is it's really, really good for you to have something to go back to look and say, okay, I gained 5 pounds. Why did I gain 5 pounds? And you go back and you look and you see what you were eating. You see how much you were moving. Maybe you weren't. Maybe you hurt your knee or something like that and you became very sedentary for a few weeks. Maybe it was the holidays and you ate a lot of desserts and sugar, and that's where that 5 pounds came from. But if you keep a journal, and I encourage, when I'm working with a client on a regular basis, and I've done 90-day programs with, single people, so that they can kind of walk through and explore the process and journal what they eat. I encourage them to journal their 3 meals and any snacks that they have, and do it every day. And some of them email me, and some of them weigh themselves daily and they email me that. And then we can talk about it. I can say, gee, Karen, it looks like you're doing really well, but where is the broccoli? I don't see vegetables in there. And it's just a good idea so that you can have an overview, and you can go back and you can track and say, yeah, I'm really doing well with the vegetables now. I'm integrating fruit into my diet on a regular basis. So, and also when you're writing down what you're eating, I encourage people to write down how they feel. So you can go back and you can say, wow, I had a really good day. What did I eat? You may say, nah, food doesn't affect me that way. Don't underestimate how your food makes you feel. Food affects your energy, it affects your sleep, it affects your skin, it affects your weight. We are what we eat. We literally are what we eat. So please, just get a notebook. It has, a little spiral notebook, and jot down every day what you eat, what your activity is, and what you're drinking too. Are you drinking wine? Are you drinking lots of special coffees with cream and sugar? Are you drinking? Are you having a cocktail every night? Just write all of that down. It's just a good place to start, because I want going forward to be able to work with you and with what I'm going to present here, and help you figure out what will improve what it is that you want to improve, whether it's getting better sleep, and we're going to talk about getting better sleep too, glucose levels, stress, weight, all of that. My goal is to help you implement sustainable lifestyle changes, because that's what this is going to take. It's not a diet, it's a lifestyle change that we want to see. So I wanted to read to you a quote by Unknown. It's one of those quotes where you look and then you say, wow, that's really good. Who said that? Unknown. Sustainable change takes time and patience. There's no quick fix to true, lasting health transformation. And that's the end of the quote. And I think that's just so accurate, so true. It's just, I think it's just brilliant. And my experience with my journey from depression to no depression, or only if I mess up my diet do I feel it coming on again. But you can manage so much in your life if you just give yourself a chance. You give yourself the tools. And my goal is to help you have those tools, find the tools. And I want to let you know that I want to hear from you. I mean, I can certainly, I've gone down the rabbit hole with all of this stuff since 2012. I've learned a ton. I've made a ton of changes myself. Do I still love a bag of chips? Boy, you bet. Do I still love ice cream? You bet. But I eat to be well for the most part, and I want to help you understand what your choices are and what the result of those choices will be, so you can make decisions for yourself. I will never tell you to get off medication. I will never tell you to make any changes without consulting your professional healthcare provider. But I do want to hear from you, because I want to know what it is you want to learn about. What are your challenges? Is it sleep? Is it managing stress? Is it arthritis? Is it weight? Are you about to go on metformin? Are you on metformin? They're going to push you to go on insulin. There are things you can do, you can try, that may pull you back from some of that. And, if it's about what you put on your plate, why not give it a try? Seriously, why not give it a try? So Brian is going to integrate this, a screen into this, and it will give you my email address. And you're welcome to email me there. Please put in the subject line Major Health Tips, so I can spot it. I get a ton of emails, so I can spot it and get back to you. But I really, really encourage you to let me know what it is you want to learn. And if it's something that I don't know something about to share, I'll learn it. As long as we are breathing, as long as our hearts are beating and our brains are functioning relatively well, we should be learning how to eat to be well. And the goal is to push the decline of our health, mental and physical, to the very, very end of our lives. I'm going to share some stuff with you about the blue zones too, because I'm just about out of time with my 20 minutes, but I'll just leave you a little teaser here. The blue zones are fascinating areas of the world, and we'll be sharing some of that. So please email me and let me know what it is you'd like to learn, because I would love to help you with that. And I will look forward to seeing you next time. This is Cheryl Major, and I want to say so long from Major Health Tips, Indigestible Bites. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.